What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Wax Packs and Warning Tracks, Mojobreak's baseball card podcast. Cody and Bubba back with you. We were off last week because there was a lot of Bowman to rip, but we're back to talk about Bowman. Yeah, that's right. We're wearing the Bowman. If you're watching this,
that's cool.
We did not plan the color coordination, but you know what? It worked out beautifully. So we got the Bowman shirts on. We are going to talk about some early sales data for Bowman. And one thing that I think we kind of clocked it on our last episode of like, this might be something to watch, is we may have a rare Bowman release where the number one guy is not a first Bowman chase and not a traditional first Bowman chase. So we'll get into that. Plus, we are reaching Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody has a great holiday weekend, safe, happy holiday weekend. And Memorial Day, always a time in the baseball calendar where you kind of, it's like the first marker of the baseball season, where we can kind of look and assess if you're good at this point, you're probably going to be a good team, but there's a few that fall off. If you're bad, well, might be time to start thinking about who's going, who's selling and all that. And we'll look at some players that we were right about, that we were wrong about, and see how they're going to play for the rest of the season. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that I thought were going to be really good and are not. Overall, just this is before we get into Bowman, the baseball landscape overall for the teams, I feel like I could probably count on one hand the teams I feel like this is a great team that's going to be there till the end of October. And then the rest is just a big pile of just a big giant shrug. Like there's some really bad teams, but I feel like for the most part, every other team from like maybe 8 down, if you're going on the power rankings, is just a big shrug to me. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Am I off here?
No, you get that feeling. I look at like divisions, like if a little divisional breakdown, like one of the best divisions right now in baseball is the NL Central. Like for some reason, I probably point to a lot of like young talent there that's stepping up and showing up that maybe like baseball writers and whatnot like weren't giving full credit for, or I don't know, because some of those lineups don't really make sense. And you look at their record and you see like who they're marching out there and they're starting 9 every day. It's like, yeah, somehow they're getting it done.
Yeah. The Cardinals, I think, is the top of that list in the Central.
Yeah.
A team that was fully in sell mode.
Now, we need to respect Alec Burleson, too, because he's been doing it for...
Burley.
This is now his, like, I think is going to be his 3rd year where he's, like, the dude in that lineup.
Yeah.
Maybe Arenado going to Arizona
provided his career.
Provided an opportunity for him to step up, not only at the plate, but
I was talking Arenado for a second. Like both ways it worked out because Arenado looks like he's back to kind of his old self.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, which is awesome. How about Zona? Quick segue, 5 in a row, just walked off. Corbin Carroll. At the time of recording,
swept the Giants. Didn't go well.
He took one off the dome.
Yes, he did.
That was wild.
He had a grand slam in that series. Took one off the head.
I've never seen that actually. Like that play I had never seen before.
Yeah.
But no, so I mean, yeah, the Cardinals at the top of that list, and then like a division where I personally coming into the year I thought was going to be a lot more competitive, and even my AL pennant pick, the Rangers, that AL West division is abysmal. It is so bad.
The A's are in first place right now at 26-24 and a negative run differential as we sit here today. The Rangers and the Mariners have been disappointing. The Astros are maybe the biggest disappointment in all of baseball. And the Angels are truly abysmal right now.
Yeah, so there are like clumps of teams. Like there are divisions that are like, they all kind of look the same to me. So I think that's providing for like some, I don't know, ambiguity, I guess, as Memorial Day is like a good marker of like a good progress report, a good progress check.
Yeah.
We're probably a good 35% into the year, right? 40% into the year.
Yeah, it's about like a third of the way into the season. And right now, here, I'll tell you the teams that I would say these are elite teams. The Dodgers. I'll put the Padres on that list.
The Padres are good.
The Braves, the best team in baseball by record. the Rays, surprise, surprise, the Yankees, and then I know people are going to get mad at me for like, oh, you didn't include the Guardians. I guess I'll throw the Guardians on there.
You don't have to.
Yeah, and then the NL Central is good. I don't know about the Cardinals. I don't think this can last. The Pirates. This is where I'm at. So about like 6 teams maybe where I'm like, okay, these are the teams.
Right.
The rest of baseball, I just don't know about. I'll throw the Brewers in there. Yeah. I think I'll put the Brewers in there. I feel good about that.
What the standings want you to believe is like what. Like I just don't think is going to be true. Like in 100 days. I just don't. Yeah, I'm not buying that the NLC is going to have 3 playoff teams.
No, well, the one that already it's turning around. The Phillies,
4 at this point.
The Phillies looked so bad to begin the season. They're now sitting at 500. I know they've lost 2 in a row, but they're sitting at 500. That's a team that's where they're going to be on the up and up. There's just too much talent on there. There's too much pride on that team, and it's already showing in the way they have played basically since Rob Thompson got fired. It's been completely different. So anyway, just something that I was kind of thinking about, and I think part of it too is the wild card stuff, expanding the wild card. Yes, you're inviting more teams into the dance, but like this was always my fear. Is like you do kind of water down the product, and you get this kind of big mush in the middle. Where it's been the last few years where the elite is so far and away above all these other teams. And then right in the middle, everything is just kind of squishy and the same. And like, a team that feels like they should be completely out of it still is like, well, we're, like the whole AL, like the Tigers have been a disaster since Tarek Skubal got hurt. So have the Astros. And yet they remain 5 games out of a playoff spot. That's not that far out in this early in the season. Like that seems a little. The Twins and the Mariners sit 3 and 4 games under 500, and they're a game out of a playoff spot. Yeah. It's early. It's super early.
And we've been talking about how bad the Mariners have been all year. And it's like they're a game out.
They're a game out. The Rangers are under 500. They're in a wild card spot. Again, it's early, but still.
Yeah, like let's just say like the standings and like the game differential and like doesn't look too much different come All-Star break, and teams are starting to put trade packages together and starting to bolster their teams for the stretch, the final stretch. Like I feel like those elite teams that you're speaking of, that short list of 5, 6, 7 teams, like they're going to make their moves. They have like, I think all those teams probably have very good prospect pools. I feel like they're going to make their moves no matter what. There's a limited supply always of like the elite talent that's available at the trade deadline. Like it's always a scarce supply. Some of the teams that are in contention today, I think will throw in the towel and will be like, you know what? Like we might be, I'm trying to think like, I'm looking at the NLC and I'm thinking like, it's not out of the question that the Pirates are selling,
right?
That the Reds are selling. I don't think the Cubs would sell because I think the Cubs look at themselves and they're like, we're probably the best team in this division. The Brewers are probably not going to sell.
No.
The Brewers are good.
Brewers are really good. Shout out to Kyle Harrison, who is going to be an all-star probably.
Dude, he's got like a 1.7 ERA or something like that.
Yeah, pride of San Jose right there. What could have been. But we'll talk about a guy who might be your Cy Young contender later on.
I think some of those teams, some of those fringe cusp mush teams that you're talking about will kind of remove themselves from the conversation. Yeah. They'll make a trade. I think, not to bounce around too much, I think Scubal's probably getting traded.
Yeah, one shock that he might be back a lot sooner than we expected.
You saw he was throwing a bullpen yesterday.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He just had elbow surgery.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. One speaks to, you have to use cliche, but truly, he's got that dog in him.
It maybe speaks to the surgery.
Wasn't as invasive maybe as he thought.
I think right after he got it, I forget who it was. Someone else, it was like a position player, went in and had loose bodies removed out of their elbow. Right. So I think this Dr. Neil Elatrach, that's just like the best sports surgeon in the world.
Dr. Neil.
I think he figured it out. and that might be like the new like wave. This like loose body removal.
Yeah. Get me back on the field in like a month.
I think I got loose bodies, dude.
Yeah. Let's do it.
I think I got them.
Yeah, we need to get. Yeah, we're going to be out on the IL for about a month. Loose bodies, but we'll be coming back throwing 98, no problem, no big deal. Yeah, it's now with the Tigers falling out of it. Again, a lot can happen.
You mentioned though they're 5 games out.
They're 5 games out.
If Scooball is back,
and there's a ton
soon,
of talent on that team.
Maybe then they're like 4 games out, 3 games out. That's a team that makes a traditionally. Historically, would make a deal at the deadline, would bolster because they're like, we're right there. We're in the hunt.
Yeah.
But we might have 12, 15 teams.
Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago. Remember, 2 years ago is when the Tigers had that crazy second half where they went from kind of being in this position to a playoff team. So
And vice versa.
Right.
Where they were like the best team in baseball. And then what
Everything
happened?
Everything collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will monitor that. Of course, things are gonna by the end of June is when
it's all up in the air still.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. All right, let's get into some Bowman sales data. We've had Bowman for about a week out there now. We've been ripping it for a week. We're still ripping it. Mojobreak.com. We got boxes available here at Mojobreak Shop as well. We kind of touched on this when we were doing our Bowman preview a couple weeks ago. They're like, if the superfractor for Ethan Holiday and Munetaka Murakami hit the market at the exact same moment, like a month after release, which one would sell? Which would be the bigger sale? I think we can put that conversation to rest right now.
Yep.
It's Murakami.
Yep.
It is kind of remarkable how much he is outpacing the rest of the Bowman crop of prospects. A good crop of prospects, I should mention. Ethan Holiday has started performing, is actually looking very good. Like the moment the product came out, had some highlight reel moments.
Yeah.
Edward Florentino, the hype is very strong for him. There's a lot of other great guys that that we're not mentioning that are still selling very strong. But I'll just throw this sale out. This was from 2 days ago as of this recording, May 20th. Redemption Chrome Rookie Orange of Munetaka Murakami, $14K. If you want to get an orange, now this is not a direct one-to-one, but an orange of Ethan Holiday, I believe it's an X-Fractor orange, as I get the card up right now, $2,500 for an orange X-Fractor auto of Ethan Holiday. Edward Florentino, a traditional orange first Bowman auto, $3,800. So, again,
it's not even close.
It's one card, but go just look down. Just keep looking and looking. And I mean, there's another Redemption Gold, $7,700.
It's double.
Another one, $7,600. The Black Refractor Anime at $7,500. The Gold at $7,100. It goes on and on and on. This is, and there is, and even if you want to go, okay, well, there was a May 17th sale of an orange, $6,500. That's still outpacing the other two. He's the guy, and it's crazy to see. It's the first time really since 2018 where the best chase in a Bowman set is not a first Bowman prospect.
Yeah, it's gonna be like we were talking about a couple weeks ago. It's gonna be like Ohtani's Bowman, where it's like his agreed upon best card, his best autograph. So because he'll have a Topps Chrome rookie card, rookie auto, but I think that the Bowman Chrome or the Bowman auto, Chrome auto will do better. And it's an interesting case where it's like a de facto first Bowman for him, but somehow like he has a head start because he's already in the majors. So he's like, I see it as like it has a first Bowman tag on it, but he's in the majors just dominating too.
Yeah.
So he's just like better than all the first Bowman guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Ethan Holiday's having a nice start, and those are respectable sales too for those cards, for the Florentino, for the Holidays. A guy I was talking about a couple weeks ago, Sungjoon Kim, selling in the $600, $700, $800 range for some of those true blue autos, and into the four figures for some of the golds and oranges as well. But yeah, and Murakami's legit, man. He just met Ichiro the other day. Did you see that?
That's cool.
I feel like he's just like getting like validated, and everyone's rooting for him. And it's the hobby's on fire right now because of Murakami.
Yeah.
Like it's sick. So good call. I would not have. I wouldn't have thought that, and I forget if I'm on record on the podcast as saying it as such, but yeah, I mean, I did not see this huge Murakami wave in terms of the prices. I thought it'd be big, but not this big.
It's pretty crazy how it is now a full-on sensation. I think it was just I feel like the Topps Chrome Black stuff, when I was seeing that sell, I'm like, that's really high for Topps Chrome Black stuff. And I get it. It was the first one. But this just kind of like, all right, I need the full confirmation that this is real. This is happening. This is the guy. We are getting a sensation here. And I think the early Bowman sales data confirms it. All these things we've been talking about, we've already mentioned on previous episodes. Like, oh, what if he's in the home run derby? What if he does this? Like, he's doing it all.
It's happening.
It's all happening.
Yeah.
He is second in the league right now in home runs, only behind Kyle Schwarber. It's cool to see. Sky's the limit right now. Truly. Sky is the limit. I was going to look up his red redemptions because I think I said something that was pretty wild to you off air where I'm like, I think these are like $300, $400 cards, these red redemptions. You're like, what?
I thought 2 because that was like rookie of the year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it can go any higher than that. I thought I saw some crazy
It can go higher if he wins like MVPs and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm definitely wrong. It's about 100, which is still great.
Oh, they've come down to $100. Okay,
they're about $100. So that's still pretty damn good, though, for what's essentially a nicer version of a base card.
Yeah, because it's not a lock yet.
For Rookie of the Year?
Right.
No, not technically.
Because that's the only reason those cards that are just like you could justify the price of those cards.
Yeah, I would say
he has to win Rookie of the Year.
Exactly. The thing that was holding it back probably was the performance of Kevin McGonigal, who is still performing well, but has come back to earth a little bit as of the entire Tigers lineup and team. But that was probably holding anyone back. But now I think you can pretty much say, all right, if there was any doubt, Murakami kind of feels like the leader in the clubhouse for the AL Rookie of the Year.
For sure.
As we stand right now.
The far and away front runner. Yeah.
Can still make a case it's McGonigal. We'll see. But it's going to be a good race between the two of them.
Yeah.
Be a very good race.
I feel like the home run numbers, we see it with MVP. We've seen it with other awards. Like that's gonna win you the award.
The flash and pizzazz of a big home run year. You're right, and doing it in it's just all the above. There's a lot of X factors.
And yeah, if McGonigal keeps it close, that means he's gonna have a heck of a year. So
yeah,
pretty cool. Another reason why Detroit, circling back to that, why they could
don't give up,
stay in it. Healthy Skubal and McGonigal being Rookie of the Year contender. I mean, they got a good squad over there. Riley Green's playing pretty good ball still too. So.
Yeah, I think I told you before we went on air. I'm like, don't forget, my World Series pick was the Mets and the Tigers.
Yeah, 2 orange teams.
Yeah, not looking great right now. Although the Mets are like kind of slowly but surely trying to climb.
They're
back
gonna
up.
Be fine. Soto is like.
He's having maybe his best year
since
since he signed. Well, it's only been 2 years, but he's having he might be on pace for his best year.
He's picking up where he left off in that crazy second half last year. He had a little bit of a calf strain to slow him down this year, but his 162 rates are MVP.
Yeah, he is performing at Juan Soto levels. Shocker. He's doing just as great as he always has.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some guys we were right and wrong about. Speaking of some offseason predictions, as we have reached Memorial Day weekend. Again, this is that line of demarcation, if you will, where we're about the third of the way through the season. Who were we most right and most wrong about? A few guys maybe that we've already talked about and a few guys maybe we haven't brought up. Let's start positive. I was going to say let's start negative, but no, let's start positive because I want to talk about a guy that I was super, super high on. And I don't even know if it was me going out on a limb, but I was really high on him, not only for cards, but for every fantasy baseball draft. I was like, if he is at this position, I am I am going to overdraft on him. Someone else had that idea in one of my leagues, unfortunately, but I did get him in another. Ben Rice of the New York Yankees.
Nice.
I was so high on Ben Rice, but I think a lot of people were, because the outlying stats, the advanced stats were just like off the charts of like, man, if this guy just gets regular playing time, watch out. Because he also is a swing built for that ballpark and everything. And it's happening. It's totally happening where he has taken that starting role and he's running with it. I think he's got 16 home runs right now as the primary first baseman for the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
All of that talk, they were going to platoon him with Paul Goldschmidt. I was like, give me a break. No disrespect to potential future Hall of Famer Paul Goldschmidt, but come on now. This is the guy.
Yeah. Goldie's had some nice at-bats off the bench, too. They're a complete team, and I think Goldie's probably just happy to be there, although he could start for a lot of teams. Keeping it on the Yankees here, Ben Rice, he got taken early in my fantasy draft. I'm in a unique total points league where we give 2 points for every double play turned. So
first baseman is big.
We limit rosters to 3 first basemen, but you can get around it if first base is not the first position listed.
Catcher.
Yep. So like he's a hot commodity. There are a handful of guys there where they play first base. Anyway, my league's lit, by the way. 13th season. It's sick.
Nice. I think I'm in about 10th right now in my league. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are the best leagues.
Yeah, they are.
Go Seager Beavers. That's my team name.
There you go.
You can probably guess who one of my 3 keepers are. And we'll talk about him in a bit here, but we're keeping it positive. I love that Yankees pick. Ben Rice is the guy. Probably, I'm going to be careful with my words. I'm not going to say build around. They have Aaron Judge there, and he's not old yet. But Ben Rice seems like, totally built for that park. Is he from New York? I get the
He's
vibe.
a New York kid,
I was gonna say
he's a New York guy.
Yeah, like he's just, I can't stand the Yankees, right? Who can? So like that's like a great baseball story, and that's so good for the game. That is so good for the game.
He's actually a Massachusetts guy, by the way. But I believe he grew up a fan of the Yankees.
A traitor.
He must be in that like spot where it's like you're not close enough to. Yeah, well,
maybe like the black sheep of the family. Just the traitor.
It's interesting that anyone who's got Massachusetts knowledge here. I need to get I need to get. Shout out to Mike Gio over at SCN. I need to get him on the horn and be like, hey, Cohasset, Massachusetts. Is this like a thing where they're not into the Red Sox? They're not like, what's going on? Like, why did Ben Rice, why is he like a Yankee guy? And it's like nobody bats an eyelash about it. Okay, here you go. This is from his Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. Grew up a fan of the New York Yankees, despite many of his friends supporting the rival Boston Red Sox. So yeah, he was just a kid. He was that kid. We all know that kid.
He was annoying as a kid.
Well, I was gonna say,
right?
Dodger fan growing up in the Bay Area.
Yes.
You could probably relate a little bit here.
I can relate a little bit. The caveat to my story is I was born in Southern California.
Sure, that's different.
But was raised in Northern California.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, and I was that annoying guy, like, why are you a Dodger fan? It's like, dude, because like my family is, and like that's like my baby clothes were that, and like my first jersey was that, like,
right.
Like I wasn't picking out my gifts, and like I wasn't picking out my team, but like God bless my parents and God bless the Los Angeles Dodgers, like they picked right. Hey, you had 3 and 5, all right? We got 3 and 6. You can have that.
I'll take it.
But like. That is interesting about Ben Rice, and very cool for Ben Rice that it worked out. How funny would it have been if he was like drafted by the Red Sox, and it's like I was born in Boston, or I was born in Massachusetts, but I grew up a Yankees fan, and now I'm back, and
right.
Either way, it's all cool.
It's still a great story. Either way, great story. Late bloomer too. He's 27, which is the thing I think that was always kind of holding.
I didn't realize that.
So this was the thing about his market of why I'm like, I understand why it wasn't. Despite the fact that he had a breakout year last year, why it didn't like catch fire. It was because 26-year-old rookie, took him a long time to get up to the major leagues, didn't have a position, really.
Yeah.
Catcher, they were like, he's not really a catcher, but we also have Paul Goldschmidt at first. What are we going to do here?
Austin Wells was playing really well.
Exactly. There's not really a clean fit for him. And because of all that, no prospect type, doesn't have a Bowman. He does not have a first Bowman auto.
Yeah, Topps Chrome were his first, yeah.
Yeah, Topps Chrome, which, you know what? At a certain point, though, the talent wins out. The player wins out, and you just cannot deny it. And there's all these other X factors we just mentioned. If you look at his first Bowman, his Topps Chrome PSA 10 base auto sales, his rookie auto, back in November, $244 for that card. Now, $676.
Wow.
Not a bad come up right now for
Wow.
Ben Rice. So, yeah, at a certain point, the player wins out. I think I saw his debut patch has sold twice over the last couple months. It took a big dip on the last one, but it's still sold for $29,000 for a guy, again, that didn't have a position, was a 26-year-old rookie. Who knows if this guy's ever going to make it? It's quite the story. It's an amazing come up. He leads all of baseball in OPS as of this recording. Even in my wildest dreams where I was like, this guy's going to be a star. I think he's an all-star. I didn't see this coming. I didn't see him OPS leader of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's wild. Hey, for my keep it positive pick, one that I got right, same team, Cam Schlittler.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Your AL Cy Young favorite right now.
Yeah, so I spoke about him on the podcast at the start of the year and took him in all my fantasy drafts. So, I put my money where my mouth was, and good stuff. Good stuff. I'm happy I did that, and I'm happy Cam Schlittler's a dog. And it's not fluky. It's not like, he's this every fifth day schedule lining up. He's beating good teams. He's dominating good teams. He's not walking guys, really. A lot of strikeouts. Yankees got to get him some run support. There have been a handful of outings now where he's either gotten no decision or like 1-run or 2-run loss. That's just fantasy bitterness there, but he's incredible. And I think for a team that can put it together offensively, they were without Garrett Cole to start the year. I think Garrett Cole's pitching today.
Yes, he is.
At the
He's
time
back.
of recording, today he's pitching. For a guy like Cam Schlittler to step up and do what he's doing, be the AL Cy Young favorite. I mean, that's you cannot have asked for more. And yeah, like I shout out the Yankees, man. They came into the year like with that I think of that meme where it's like the kid in like the yearbook. It's like the two yearbook pictures and like they're like the same thing. It's like the people are giving them crap for just rolling out the same roster as last year. And,
Yeah.
It was a good roster. It's a good lineup.
It made the playoffs.
It's a good lineup, and Jazz Chisholm's having a really good year, and they're having like a lot of like clutch big moments, and there's a lot of opportunity in that division. The Rays are really taking advantage right now, and I think I think it's Yankees and Rays at the top. Blue Jays, I don't know. Did they run out of steam? Who knows? But
they're going to get some guys back in that rotation, especially where I think they're going to be fine at a certain. I just think they're getting another one where there's too much talent. The pitching rotation, once they get guys healthy, terrible about Cody Ponce, who was looked like what a great story,
What a story. Yeah.
And he looked good in his first couple starts, and then that was awful to see. But the rest of that rotation is going to be healthy at some point and should be fine.
Yeah, so there's opportunity, and Cam Schlittler's rising to the occasion. Ben Rice is rising to the occasion. Judge is Aaron Judge with an exclamation mark still. Jazz is playing well. Cody Bellinger is playing really well.
Yeah.
They look good.
They're a good team. They're look, and why did they feel the confidence to go, let's just run it back, is these two. I think a big part of it is the two guys we're talking about right here that were they didn't get the full runway of we don't know, we want to see what they can offer us. Essentially, they do the whole we made our trade by calling a guy up. But really this was their offseason. Our offseason was saying Cam Schlittler's part of this rotation. He's locked in, and Ben Rice is our first baseman. Those were things that were not going into the 2025 season. The fact that they've made those moves has paid off it has paid off in dividends. It's been huge. It's been huge. I'm looking right now at a first Bowman prospect auto PSA 10 or your first Bowman base auto of Cam Schlittler. 2025 Bowman Chrome is where you'll find him. $909 for that. There's not that many of them out there, frankly.
No.
Of that one, the pop count's really, really low. So that's another guy where the way the market has moved on pitching the last few years, a Yankee, 25. Potential Cy Young Award winner. It's got kind of the perfect formula of like if you were maybe saying, yeah, I like this Schlittler guy and he had some hype behind him, it's going to pay off big time. I think the market's going to be very, very healthy for him throughout the season. All right, guys, we're wrong about. Let's be negative, sort of negative.
Yeah, you go first.
I was very wrong, and I was wrong in a good way for this one. So I am still being positive. I was so sure that Jacob Misiorowski was not going to. I thought he would be good, but I'm like, man, oh man, I've seen that body before. I've seen that wiry frame. I've seen it fall apart. I have. Only because, again, I go from my experience as a Giants fan. I watched Tim Lincecum. And this is maybe where I made the crucial mistake. I saw Tim Lincecum do things I'd never seen any pitcher ever do. Look as good as any pitcher I've ever seen. And then fall apart because everybody was like, well, he's a small, wiry guy. It's going to fall apart one day. And it happened.
Yeah.
But there were 3 years there where he was undoubtedly the best pitcher in all of baseball. That's the part I neglected when it came to the Jacob Misiorowski comparisons. He still has a runway to be one of the best pitchers in baseball. And guess what? He might be your favorite for the National League Cy Young Award. As of right now, he leads all of baseball in strikeouts. He's still, I think him and Skeens are like 1 and 1A when it comes to most electric pitcher in baseball. Like those are the two guys when they're on the mound, I'm locked in.
Yeah, I would say electricity. I would give that to Misiorowski. It is like a spectacle watching him pitch. Skeens is more like seems like you want to see like a pitching masterclass. Like
yes.
It's from start to finish, just like it's like a novel with like a storyline. Like just it's a beautiful thing. You like Paul Skeens, he had that 8-inning outing just maybe a start or two ago that was just like,
if you could describe a pitcher as Dickensian, it would be Paul Skeens.
There you go. Dude, it's like watching a movie, like watching when he's locked in and he's cruising for 95, 100, 110 pitches. Like it's nuts. Misiorowski is more like a thriller if we're like a movie. It's more like I don't really know what's going to happen. I know we're going to get our peaks and our valleys, but like there's potential for this to be like, yeah, like the movie of the year, the thriller of the year. Like, there's so much unknown. And I think maybe like kind of like a little credit toward what you were saying early in the year before the season started. Like your skepticism was like, he's such a wild card. His delivery, his frame, what has historically made a good pitcher? What does that look like? Like it's like he does not check a lot of boxes.
Right. Even within the organization, there was I think they viewed him as like, oh, he's a late inning guy because that's not going to last for a full, we can't get 30 starts out of that frame. It's been totally proven wrong so far. Again, it's early in the season. There's still time. Mm-hmm. And here's the part that excites me the most. Is the last 3 starts, I think, have been maybe his best starts. Against the Yankees, he goes 6 innings, no earned runs, 11 Ks. Against the Padres, he goes 7 innings, no earned runs, 10 Ks. And against the Cubs in Wrigley in a crucial early season series, 6 innings, no runs, and 8 Ks. He's doing 3 of his best starts against, or you can make an argument those are 3 of like the 7 or 8 best teams in all of baseball right there. And yeah, I've just been totally proven wrong. This guy has got the juice. He's super exciting. Again, his long-term prospects, I still don't know. And I have seen some sales that kind of indicate that maybe some collectors were feeling the same way where we know what the sales were last year, where they were just astronomical out the gate. Like his first Bowman autos going for $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 almost.
Yeah.
Those have leveled off a lot. I think they were sitting around $500 to $600 going into the season. They're back up though.
Yeah.
I think I saw there was a sale that was at that was $799 for a PSA 10 base first Bowman. So I think there's a lot of people who maybe were like me. We're like, this isn't going to last. And now that it is still happening, it's like, well, I get it. Keep going.
Keep going.
Strike while the iron's hot, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, again, you had a 2-3 year window where Tim Lincecum, nobody could touch this guy, and he was the most exciting pitcher in all of baseball. The thing with Misiorowski is that, yes, the wire reframe and all that, but he's 6'7".
Right.
He's a lot bigger than Lincecum was.
Yeah, like
Maybe it lasts longer because of it.
Ubaldo Sanchez, very tall, kind of thin. I don't know. Different delivery.
Or Ubaldo Jimenez.
What did I just say? Sanchez?
Yeah.
Ubaldo Jimenez.
Shout out to that was a guy. God, if you caught him in like the 2-month period in like 2010,
Yeah. Good luck. Did he didn't throw no.
I don't.
He was just twirling like CGs and right.
That is one
at Coors Field. He was throwing like CG shutouts.
Yeah, I want to say it was. Yeah, there it was. It was 2010. He went 19-8. He finished third in Cy Young voting that year. Look, I'm sorry if I'm going to take a trip down memory lane.
I'm happy to. That's where I kicked the can. So.
There was a run where it was like beginning of the year where his ERA.
This was Lincecum era.
Yes, it was the same year as Lincecum. I remember
the NL West was awesome.
Lincecum was
Kershaw.
Yeah, at
Lincecum.
prime, insane. It was a good time. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
Lincecum was coming off 2 straight years of Cy Youngs, and so it was kind of like, all right, this guy's just unstoppable. And then here comes Ubaldo Jimenez, and he just shoves for 2 months. This was the start I remember in San Francisco. 9 innings. He had a complete game shutout with 9 strikeouts. He was hitting 100 easily. His ERA dropped to .78.
Oh my gosh!
2 months into the season with the Colorado Rockies.
It was after that start. Yeah, everyone was talking about like, all right, what are we witnessing here? What is this straight arm back, lock arm? Like
he was a dude.
I mean, if you were on the wiffle ball field or even like in a little league or on any field, if you didn't try that lock arm at least once, right? You're joking.
Yeah, 13 Ks against the Padres earlier in that year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was lights out.
I threw him. I mentioned him because I perceive him to be kind of similar frame.
6'5".
Yeah.
6'5", 221. Misiorowski, a little lighter, 6'7", 201. So
all right.
Yeah. But that's a pretty good call though. I like that. I like that comp.
Unique delivery. Ubaldo couldn't sustain. He bounced around a little bit. I think he ended up in Baltimore to end his career.
Yeah.
Couldn't but I don't know. I'm kind of like indifferent or like just like don't have much of an opinion on Misiorowski. I don't really know what I'm seeing when I watch him pitch. When I watch Skeens pitch, I'm like, this is a pitcher. I wouldn't doubt because even like Roki, not talking frame, but just like results wise, like Roki has shown signs of brilliance, typically out of the bullpen, in super high leverage situations. So it's like I don't want to so it's like those are like credible good innings, like worth talking about innings. Misiorowski was talking, he's bounced back between bullpen and not. I think of a guy like Dustin May too, with a very dynamic delivery that he also has been teased in the bullpen. And these guys that are just so good and that their talent is undeniable, they're always going to have a spot. Back to what you were saying earlier, just keep going, Misiorowski, because I think if he wants a big contract too, you got to be a starting pitcher, right?
Yep, exactly.
He didn't already get paid, did he?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Milwaukee, unless it's like right out I think they give Churio that big contract extension, but especially for pitching, they don't like to handle those big contracts for pitching. For sure.
Yeah, they didn't want to pay Burns, huh?
Didn't pay Corbin Burns. I mean, they wouldn't have paid Woodruff if he got hurt and said that's the only reason I think he came back.
Yeah, he bailed them out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, they do not like paying for pitching.
Freddie Peralta didn't really get big money.
Traded him. Yeah, exactly. Before they had to pay him, they just shipped him off. So this is the way they do things.
So that's interesting to track too. Let's just say it all works out for Misiorowski on the mound. what does that look like for his career? Where is he pitching in 3 seasons?
That's why I kind of go back, and again, I go back to these guys we mentioned, the Jimenezes, the Lincecums, who have the same sort of build, where a lot of those teams, like the Giants very famously balked at giving him the deal he wanted, and it worked, and they were right.
Yeah.
So Milwaukee's a very, very smart organization. I think right now, obviously, hobby-wise, again, like I said, strike while the iron's hot. Things are going up again. I might even wait it out a little bit because I think he's for real this season. Like I don't think there's any doubt there.
Right.
Misiorowski is here. You're going to get a few years of at least a year of elite pitching. This guy might start the All-Star game as well. Mm-hmm. Like there's a lot to love for the next year with Misiorowski. And I think if by year's end, if we're like in September and it looks like, oh, it's tracking to be either him or Skeens for the Cy Young or Ohtani. Forgot to mention him, the way he's pitching right now. If it's like that, I think regardless of the result, the potential of a Cy Young season for Misiorowski will be baked into his market. And I think that you could see potentially things getting back to, summer of last year prices for Misiorowski. Potentially. Maybe he doesn't reach those astronomical heights, but I think it could get close.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I hope he doesn't start the All-Star game. I want to see Ohtani start the All-Star game.
Yeah, I mean, look.
It might be one of those things where Misiorowski deserves it, but just for the spectacle of the things, they
That's an interesting one, though.
How about, I like this. Misiorowski deserves it this year to start, but he doesn't because Ohtani's like the more marketable start. The same way Misiorowski did not deserve to be an all-star last year, but made the roster because it was the more marketable approach to have him there.
This is the makeup one. By the way.
So it helps him last year, but it hurts him this year. But he's still an all-star either way.
If there's Philly fans listening, as we're like, oh, he might be the Cy Young guy. Speaking of that. Christopher Sanchez is like having another fantastic year and is like I believe he is close to. He is not quite the ERA leader. No, he's the ERA leader of the National League right now. So
what is that?
Yeah, sorry. He's got a 1.82 right now.
Yeah, he does.
He's really good. He's going to be an all-star this year. And actually, if we had to throw a bone to Philly fans, it's in Philadelphia. Christopher Sanchez. I know it's not Ohtani and Misiorowski starting, but that's the guy who maybe should be the starter, just to throw him a bone.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's fine.
It'll be a great story for Philly fans, but then you go Ohtani and then you go Misiorowski, and that'll be fun. And then Skeens. Boy, golly, think about that.
Mason Miller to close.
And gosh, that's not even fair. That's not even fair. No disrespect to the American League, probably Schlittler, but it is such a funny group of names for the American League right now.
Yeah.
Nick Martinez. Anyone could have had him. He's second in the league in ERA. Davis Martin of the White Sox, looking like a dude.
They have a couple guys over there in Chicago that are putting together a year.
Funny. Anyway, all right, your guys that you were wrong about.
Yeah, the Rangers more or less. Corey Seager batting under 200. I think like a $185 on the shelf right now with a bad back. I think he's probably been playing hurt all year.
That's just par for the course.
And the Instagram comments are wanting them to hang him up. And for the first time in my fandom, I'm not I'm not in full disagreement. That's a conversation for a different day.
Is he? Wait, so, gosh, that would be a bummer to see that, first of all. But
because then we start talking Pedroia stuff.
Would he entertain the idea of just going DH for 32 at becoming a full-time DH at 32 is a little early, but
for sure. I think he would entertain. I think he would do that. And I don't know, man. You get a bad back from swinging the bat too. He's had.
It's not like
He's had hamstring stuff. Running the bases. Actually, he's notorious for pulling hamstrings and straining hamstrings while rounding second after having the hardest hit ball of the year off the wall. And it's nice, healthy Corey Seager's an MVP, and it's healthy Corey Seager strains his hamstring running around second base.
Yeah.
Like, inevitably, which sucks for all parties involved. And mostly Corey Seager. So, like, you know, I just think, like, I see these comments year over year over year, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe. That aside, he's not the only one bringing down the Texas Rangers.
No.
Wyatt Langford just also not healthy. So it's like, you know, you don't want to, you know, kick a guy while he's down, but even when he was healthy, not hitting the ball. And they traded Marcus Semien
for Nimmo.
Nimmo's now hurt, or he was dealing with something.
He was. I think he's
having
fine
a good
now.
year. Okay.
Yeah, he's playing.
Having a good year. Marcus Semien's having a good year too, I think.
Sorry. I think right now, if the Mets could redo that deal, I think they'd say, yeah, let's hit the reset button and maybe not do that, because Semien is batting .225 and has a 0 wins above replacements. He is the definition of a replacement level player right now.
All right. Well, I thought Nimmo was still dealing with something, but
yeah, now Nimmo's doing well. Nimmo is actually is a bright spot right now for the Rangers.
There we go.
And as he is year in and year out, where he's just all reliable. Brandon Nimmo, he just does it.
Yeah,
plays great defense. And
Jacob deGrom, sort of like, you know, a little like bad sandwich. We'll put a little more good in there. Jacob deGrom's looking really good.
He's looking very good.
He's looking really good. There are things to like there. They're just not hitting the ball. I think there's just like there's not the swagger in that lineup. And really in a division that's like wide open, like just screaming, waiting for someone to just run away with it. And no one's doing that in that division.
And that's maybe the bright spot here, is that you get Wyatt Langford back whenever that may be. The back injury for Corey Seager is a little worrisome. Like, that could be a long time on the shelf.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not very long. But you get these guys back, you tread water in a weak division. You got to do it quick, because I think the Mariners are poised to like take advantage of this, because they are healthy and they have guys who are performing. Like J-Rod is off to a great start this year.
Yeah, for like the first time ever.
Right. If they get Cal Raleigh back, when they get Cal Raleigh back,
there are signs.
Yeah, I mean, he got hurt, which is crazy. I think the Raleigh thing, what's happening here, and the injury just kind of confirmed it, is like wear and tear of just a full season behind the plate of played almost every game.
Dude, he caught almost every game.
And then went to game 7 of the ALCS and was catching
every game.
And when he wasn't catching, he was DHing because he was just too valuable. So I think there was just fatigue. Like, he's never played that much baseball, and catching every single game and playing at that level, it's a lot on you mentally and physically. So
yeah, they're not wearing knee savers.
No.
In the MLB.
No.
So I don't. He's not.
No. That he seems poised. He seems poised to. That team seems poised to like strike. So again, the Rangers have a lot of good talent. Langford's a guy I've believed in for a long, long time. He was my dark horse MVP a couple years ago.
He was a lot of people's dark horse MVP this year.
Yeah, he's still just 24. I still really like him. If he can get back healthy, he's also the kind of guy who's a second half guy the last couple of years, where you kind of look at the stats at the end of the year and go, hey, he wasn't that bad.
Yeah. What gives me a little anxiety about leaning on Langford and counting on Langford. He's also on my fantasy team, a guy I took early, so it's like, just like from a handful of different perspectives, like his injuries have been muscular. They've been forearm. They've been quad. They've been, what's right here? Your obliques. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know. And like, I think of Mike Trout. I think they have a similar build. I think they play they play both outfielders with similar builds, and Mike Trout had just like playing baseball injuries,
Right.
Right. And I just think, dang, like, if Wyatt's half the player Mike Trout ends up, is that like, he's lucky, but like from an injury standpoint, like I fear that we might not have him on the field like enough to be able to consider him or count on him I think, Exhibit A, and it's not the first time he's been hurt either. He's been dealing with injuries, I think, since he's been up.
Literally every year, I think he's had an injury.
Since 24.
Right. It's been this is now a recurring issue where you do have to take a step back and go, I don't know if he's just going to keep getting hurt. I will say right now, May 19th, the first Bowman auto base raw, $83 for Wyatt Langford. That is a steep fall of what he was. Is it at a point though where you're like,
I'm buying under $100.
Right.
I'm buying under $100. Like, I'm still rooting for the guy, and he's had like 10, 15 game stretches that were like, whoa, this is sick. Like,
where you see the guy we all were expecting.
Yeah. And
just remember all that hype he had going in where it's like, wow, he's not going to see any time in the minors.
Yeah.
There is a very, very, very short list of guys who see that little time in the minor leagues. And most of them become dudes. So that is always why I will have the hang up of like, but that's crazy that he did that, because that doesn't happen. It never happens.
Yeah.
So
I'm a buyer under $100, probably at the 80 whatever dollar price point, but like that could be a $60 card next week.
It might be.
Because he's had setbacks too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in his road to recovery. Wyatt, we're rooting for you. Get well soon, dude.
That's exactly.
Rangers need some life, and it just seems like they need to get healthy.
We are fans of Wyatt Langford. We are unabashed fans here on the podcast of Wyatt Langford. So yeah, I am definitely rooting for him as well. I want to see it happen. I want to see everything sort of come together. And yeah, that division's up for grabs. The A's are not going to win that division. No disrespect to the A's, but they are not winning.
No, it's the Mariners before it's the A's. Yeah, and it should be the Rangers right there. Yeah. It should be the Rangers right there.
Rangers should be right in the conversation.
Closing notes. How about something you're looking forward to for your Giants or something?
Oh, oh gosh, win games, please. It's early enough. It's 50 games into the season. This is one of the most disappointing, maybe the most disappointing start I think I can think of as a Giants fan. Everything about it breaks my heart because Buster Posey. This was supposed to be. This was the risk. This was the risk of having Buster Posey in this position. This was supposed to be his victory lap. He's going to the Hall of Fame next year, potentially. I think he will. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah, first ballot.
It's a 15-year anniversary for a World Series. Let's get everybody back and have a good time. And he took on this role, and God bless him, because it probably was. He knew it was probably going to be a thankless job if things didn't go well. This was the nightmare scenario of he has to go on local radio and get grilled and like face fan frustrations, and like, it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. That said, minor league system looks really good right now. So
yeah, like, is there a version of like a year from now? We're doing a podcast in a year or how about 2 years from now? From space, we're doing our podcast or something, and we're like, that was okay. That little thing he did there, like,
I will say this has actually been the thing, and we'll wrap it here.
Because like I'm not a Giants hater. Obviously, I don't root for the Giants, but like there have been like I find myself trying to justify, and like I don't feel like I sound crazy sometimes when I'm like justifying some of these moves. They're not playing well.
Yeah,
and their bullpen is. I don't know is it a bullpen? I don't know what it is.
The bullpen's been a huge issue, and this is why it's so frustrating, because everybody could clock it. They all looked at that bullpen and went, don't know about that. And lo and behold, there's this remarkable stat of like, when they have a 4-run lead, the bullpen has like a sub 2 ERA. When they have when they're trying to protect a 3-run lead or less, their ERA is like 5 or 6. I mean, it's just right there. It's right there. It's just they don't have the guy at the end of the game who can shut things down, that they can be confident to say, this is our closer, or 2 or 3 guys where we feel confident giving them the ball. You don't even have to have a closer. The Dodgers didn't have a closer last year. They won the World Series.
The Dodgers, when it came down to it in the World Series, that when they went to the bullpen, they only went to starting pitchers that were in their bullpen.
Right. Well, it also helps, when your starters are like an all-star starting rotation. So I'll say this, but this has been the thing rattling through my brain of like, and we actually talked about, kind of go full circle. We talked about the Cardinals being this really interesting surprise team that they went full sell mode and yet they're competing. If you want to look at the blueprint of like, how do we get out of this mess? I think the Cardinals are actually a great team to look at, where they had been patching a sinking ship for a long time, where they were like, oh, what if we put a Nolan Arenado here? What if we stick a Sonny Gray here? What if we put a Wilson Contreras here? And none of it worked. And the bottom fell out last year, where they're like, oh, now they're just bad. And they decided, okay, fine, we'll trade all these guys. And Brendan Donovan, the one guy who's got a few years of control, will get you some big value, a lot of prospects. We'll swallow our pride and trade him too. And they went full rebuild mode.
Yeah.
But they also had a bunch of prospects. They had a good enough farm system where they were like, let's just give these guys plenty of time to play. And it's working. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But the Giants have a very solid farm system, probably the best they've had in a very long time. They have some really interesting prospects. They have a lot of big contracts and some guys that, even despite their big contracts, might be desirable to a lot of teams. I won't name names of like who maybe I've been tinkering with, but
is Logan Webb a Giant?
That's kind of one of the names where I'm like, I don't know what they do.
Or is he a Yankee at the end of the year? Or is he like a Cub?
That's a guy who gets you some big prospects. There's a few guys on expiring contracts who can net you a few prospects. And then you look at next year where we're like, well, let's try Bryce Eldridge. Let's try some of these young pitchers. Let's try a few of these other outfielders who have been making noise, and we've got a few shortstops and stuff in the minor leagues who we could stick at second or stick at third or whatever. That to me is maybe the blueprint of where you look at what the Cardinals did and you go, well, it's not that far away from being a reality.
Yeah, Devers is like your guy.
Yes.
You build her. Dude, Casey Schmidt is legit. Dude.
Casey Schmidt. Again, you like, he's okay, like now you're the second baseman.
He's like your Burleson, like for that Cardinals team. Like just a guy you can count on. He's going to hit in the high 280s. Dude, Schmidt is legit, dude.
He's been very good.
He's on my fantasy team. That dude is
another
like my
one,
best
and
player.
I've loved Luis Ariz, but all off season I went, boy, if they spent a big on a pitcher and spent big on an outfielder, I could deal with Casey Schmidt at second base. I can deal with that. And then if it doesn't work, you handle it at the deadline. Well, they didn't do that, and now Casey Schmidt is there, and there's a log jam, and you don't have a position for him, and you're using a guy who is a Gold Glove defender at DH. But I digress. Thank you for giving me a moment to vent. There,
I knew you had it bottled up. I just, I had to ask before we signed off today.
Yeah. So, we'll see. Again, things are going well in the minor league system. I can't complain there. But until next time, again, make sure to go over to Mojobreak.com. We're still ripping Bowman. We're still ripping all the latest baseball products. There's going to be more coming up. Still kind of a desert for a couple of weeks until we get some Inception and other products coming out in a few weeks. But we will be ripping plenty of baseball, plenty of Bowman. Mojobreak, Fanatics Live, whatnot, all the above, and coming to Mojobreak shop as well to grab yourself a box. For Bubba, I'm Cody. We'll talk to you guys next time on Waxbacks and Morning Tracks.
See you.